Go ahead. Knock them off me. I dare you. Now I realize that most of you will have no idea where that reference comes from. But for those of us that are old enough, William Conrad did a commercial for Duracell battery. And if you don't know who William Conrad was and you're in this world, apparently you've missed something, because he was the person that played Pasquinel in Centennial. I'm doing a video on something that Levi Strauss Garrett Woods Bang Bang baseball team had on his thing the other day about traditional round ball sidelock muzzleloader comments, and I can't tell you the person that made those comments. I can't tell you the history of that person that made that content. All I can do is relate my personal experiences, history, and opinion. And that, of course, the comment was something to the effect that sidelock muzzleloading and round ball needed to go away because it was an ineffective projectile. I could be getting it slightly wrong. It's not my comment, but I'm going with what I understand it to be. First of all, when it gets right down to it, I've seen a lot of game go to waste because of a lot of different things, whether it be archery, whether it be muzzle loading, whether it be high-powered modern-day rifles. So to state just on the fact that round ball is ineffective is like saying, and I have my biases. So, you know, when I say, hey, for elk hunting, I have my bare minimums. And in the muzzleloading world, when you're being in grizzly country, around elk, moose, and buffalo, I have what I consider should be a bare minimum. Does that matter for this video? No. Because the point is not necessarily what I think a bare minimum is, it's whether or not Bertha here is an effective killing machine. Well, there's a lot of game and a lot of people that has been around these for a lot of time, a long time, that will beg to differ with you, and I of course am one of those. And the whole term that sidelock muzzleloading somehow isn't as effective, and that is part of the comment alone tells me that this guy is very short-sighted. A good many years ago, the state of Wyoming was on the gravy train of listening to what I refer to as manufacturers' propaganda about inline muzzleloaders being far more accurate, inline muzzleloaders far more reliable. Inline muzzleloaders were much cleaner, with less corrosion. Inline muzzleloaders were more effective downrange, and all that kind of. And I went out of my way, and I don't have this out right now because I intend to do another video, not on this subject, but on black powder in general. But for this purpose, I brought out my old star, Bertha, who is responsible for whitetail, mule deer, pronghorn, elk, in a lot of people's freezer, badger, coyote. Where do I stop on the different things? It's effectively harvested, and it did it with a .530 round ball. But in this case, for a little bit here, I want to address the Sidelock muzzleloader. Bertha is a cap lock, and beside you is a gun that I have introduced to you before, that quite frankly, if I was back in the mountains again today, this would probably be my choice right here. And it is also 54 caliber, and it's a flintlock. Now, since you last seen it, I've done some things, because I got this gun on a deal, doesn't matter, but I got it on a deal partly because there was a crack in the wrist and it needed repair. Now, I did a pinning repair on this, but because of who I am, I decided, well, you know what, I repaired it up on an inside with a modern thing, but I'm going to cover that up with what I call a historically correct mountain man fix. And of course, that is buffalo rawhide. I went through and done some of my own decoration, and the one thing I learned is my asymmetry is way off, because like in this particular pinning, I've really kind of screwed it up. Was going for the medicine wheel up in the Bighorn Mountains, and I don't believe I got even close to it. But nonetheless, it's mine, and it is what it is. Now, you look at that weapon and you think, wow, he's got another 54 caliber flintlock. Well, the truth of the matter is, I do. But it's not a round ball gun, or at least in my opinion, it's not a round ball gun. There has been people that's tested these with round ball. I haven't yet. I haven't even shot this one yet, to be honest. But why do I say it's not a round ball gun? Well, this one, for whatever reason, Pedersoli decided to give it a 1 in 27 twist. And like I said, some people have tested that, and they've gotten a minute of, well, what I call minute of deer accuracy. It's not quite that bad, but my idea when I got this was I wanted to shoot conical bullets. Flintlock be damned. I feel that there's limitless ability with a flintlock or a percussion lock, side lock. You're not bound by a round ball. Doesn't matter, round ball's still effective. What I'm saying is that's something that we need to tap into as a community. If we want our thing to pass on, is we need to illustrate the versatility of our love for the black powder and side lock community. This is also why I have come up with the idea, and I know I'm beating a dead horse because people just don't get it or understand it, but the Hawken rifle, historically speaking, isn't as relevant as people think it is when it comes to the Rocky Mountain fur trade, especially when you consider the Rocky Mountain fur trade started long before the Louisiana Purchase. There was people going up the Missouri long before the Corps of Discovery. Now, I kind of started this, but many years ago, Wyoming thought that they were going to outlaw inline muzzleloaders because of what was being stated. I set out to prove them wrong, and when I did so, I used 2 rifles, and I believe, if memory serves, the first one was a Omega Thompson Center. Both are Thompson Centers, but I think it was, if I remember right, an Omega Thompson Center 50 caliber with 1 in 21 twist, 26-inch barrel. Came with a recessed muzzle where you could drop the bullet in for like the first inch without any resistance, with no rifling, and set it. At the same time, I came up with a Black Mountain Magnum, which is a Sidelock muzzleloader. It had the exact same barrel, for the exact same twist, for the exact same length, and even had the exact same resistant-free muzzle. Difference was, one was Sidelock, the other one was inline. Both of them used musket cap ignition. And I took some of those game and fish out there after we were setting these up with the exact same scope even. The only difference again was the inline was directly over the bore, where the Sidelock I had to set an offset one, but they both had the exact same scope. And they could not prove to me which one was more accurate. Accuracy does not come from the Sidelock. Accuracy does not come from real black powder versus Pyrodex. Accuracy comes from the engagement within the rifle relative to the length of bullet, not the weight of bullet, the length of bullet, for stability. Now, I've been a long time advocate that I want to see what I call a traditional heritage season for not just muzzleloaders, but for the guy that likes to go and cut himself down an Osage and come up with his own stab and make his own bow and use flint arrowheads, and whether it be cedar or whatever type of shaft that they want to use, that they can go out dressed as what they enjoy doing and do it safely. I don't care what time. I think it should be a state, every state should be doing this. Even here in the state that I'm currently at, the game laws make 0 sense. For example, I can go to the woods nowadays shooting a compound bow, which I've hunted with, or a crossbow, and have bragging rights to 100+ yard accuracy. Great. Do you know how many elk and mule deer I've chased because somebody thought that that was ethical hunting distance? And then to top it all off, they took the advice of people who made their money selling you ideas and propaganda for products, telling you the right way to handle a situation. And the biggest problem was, you shoot a deer with a bow archery equipment, you should wait a minimum of 30 minutes and preferably 45 minutes to an hour before you track. These videos were everywhere. Well, there are times, you know, you got a heavy snow or you got a heavy rain where I would show up because it seemed like a great day to do it, show up at some local lodge and sit down for a meal next to the wood-barreled fire or fireplace to hear somebody recounting that they just shot an elk or whatever earlier. And oh, cool, can we see it? Oh no, we haven't tracked it yet. Haven't tracked it yet. Yeah, we're waiting, letting the thing calm down, and we'll go out and get it later. And I'd look out the window and I'm going, huh, we've just gained 1.5 inches of snow in the last hour. I think we need to go after it. And I would even offer help to go help them find it. And somehow they didn't want me to know where they were hunting, and I get that, sorta. But at this point, I'm more concerned about recovery than I am what it was shot with. Only to find out after a few days that they never found it. Well, duh. So it comes right down to in my opinion, we need to be more accountable for our integrity, or hunt ethics is the word. And we need to use common sense. Yes, 45 minutes to an hour is great under perfect conditions. Right now, of course, it's too hot to really allow something to sit in the sun, because we're in right now probably the highest temperature we've had this summer. Debatable, but that's not my point. If I got dry conditions where I ain't worried about whether or not I'm going to lose sign, waiting it out is reasonable. But you got to use some common sense, and there's a lack of that. Now, I was talking about odd game laws. Currently, in this particular state, you can go hunting for that completely in camouflage. At the same time, you can go through the woods with a shotgun for the same season and hunt squirrel or grouse or woodcock or whatever the case may be. But because you're out there with a shotgun, you have to wear hunter's orange. Tell me where that makes sense. I've got shot that gives me more limited range and effective range than a bow that they're claiming 100 yards plus from. And one gets to wear hunter's orange, has to wear hunter's orange. The other one doesn't matter. If you're going after a duck later, same thing. You don't have to wear hunter's orange. But if you're going after Peter Cottontail and ruffed grouse, hunter's orange. You go out with a muzzleloader during the second archery season, and you have to wear hunter's orange. But the archery season doesn't, or people don't. Tell me the logic in that. This is a heritage I love. This particular muzzleloader, like I told you, I don't consider it a round ball muzzleloader. Does it look traditional? Is it perfect? Nothing's perfect, but this is as traditional as you're going to get. And I know I'm beating a dead horse here because I keep bringing it up, but this is also part of the reason why I think it's essential to start building muzzleloaders that are historically correct looking, but have more versatility in it. Hence my idea for what would Ashley do build. A large 54 to 62 caliber muzzleloader that is built in the essence of military size locks, 7/8 to full length stocks, to represent early, what I would call, nowadays some people refer to it as Ashley Super Hawken, but have it to where it has the capability of interchanging barrels. The one thing the inline people have that we don't is we do not market our stuff well. And if we could deliver somebody something that had multiple facets of use, not only shooting competition, but shooting big game to dangerous game to down to hunting morning to platform, then we need to do it. And then we need to promote the crap out of it. The last thing that this country needs is one more maker making a 50 caliber Hawken, because Robert Redford said that that was the ultimate. Not even the gun he was using in the movie was correct for the time he was in, even. And that's not necessarily the point I'm trying to get across. The point is, we deserve a traditional hunt with ethical hunters that love their sport. Mistakes can be made with any weapon. That's like me coming along and telling you, you can't go hunting with your 350 Legend because it ain't the same as my 35 Whelen. Well, both are very effective for what they're meant to do. Who am I to tell somebody else what it is? Their right choice. So with that, you came here looking to get butt hurt, you definitely could be coming to the right place, because I'll call out the BS wherever I see it.